Welcome back to Creeltalk. If this is your first time here, this platform is where we talk about the hard truth behind entrepreneurial success. We share our real experiences, the win, the mistakes, the messy middle, in hopes that our real life lessons can help elevate you on your journey. Today, we're diving into a conversation that so many people feel but very few can actually put into words. There's a moment in every entrepreneur's journey where you look around and think, I thought I'd be further by now. It's like being in a long road trip with no GPS. You're driving, you're moving, you're doing everything you know to do right. You're not giving yourself you're not taking any excuses, you're not giving any, but you have no idea how close you are to the destination. And that uncertainty, that not knowing can feel so heavy than the work itself. If you're in the place right now, this episode is for you. Imagine driving in early in the morning when the fog is thick, you can't see the horizon, you can't see the next turn, you can barely see the lines on the road in front of you. But for some reason, you keep moving because you trust the road is still there. That's what building or chasing after your dreams feels like when the timeline is unknown. You're doing the work, you're showing up, you're planting the seed, but the visibility is low. Galatians 6:9 says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap the harvest if we do not give up. Notice it doesn't say your time, it says the proper time. And proper time rarely comes with a countdown clock. Have we noticed that? Before we jump into the episode, I've got to say this. When we launched last August, our goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we blew past that because of you. Now we're aiming even higher. We're on a mission to grow from 3,000 to 10,000 subscribers this year. If you're listening and you haven't subscribed yet, take a second and hit that button. It helps us reach this wild goal and keeps this show growing. All right, back to the episode. So let me tell you a story. A long distance swimmer once said, the hardest part of the sport wasn't the distance. It was the fact that she could see the shore. She said, if I could see the land, I could pace myself. But when you're in the middle of the ocean, every stroke feels like a guess. That's what the unknown timeline feels like. You're swimming, you're moving, you're giving everything you have, but you can't see the finish line. And the mind starts to whisper things to you, right? What if I'm not close? What if I'm not making progress at all? What if this isn't working? Have you felt this before? Many of us love the testimonies. We love the moment someone says, I made it. I crossed the finish line and I'm finally on the other side. And when we hear those stories, we often say these to ourselves. I will keep going too if I was put in that situation. But let's be honest. It's easy to say that after you know the ending. It's easy to admire someone's endurance when you can see the timeline neatly wrapped up in a 5-minute story. What's not easy is living in the middle of it when you don't know if you're 1 mile away, 2 miles, or mile 92. When you don't know if the breakthrough is tomorrow or 10 years from now. When you're swimming in the dark with no land in sight. But here's the truth. Just because you can't see the shore doesn't mean you're not getting closer. There's a type of bamboo that takes 5 years. Many of you have heard this story before. It takes 5 years to break through the soil. 5 years of watering, 5 years of nurturing, 5 years of seeing absolutely nothing. Then, in one single season, it grows up to 90 feet. People call it a sudden growth. But when it wasn't sudden at all, it was unseen. A lot of the growth was happening within. Your goals might be in its bamboo years. Nothing visible, nothing dramatic, nothing Instagram worthy. But underground, the roots are forming, the strength is building, the capacity is expanding. You know what I will tell you? The timeline is unknown, but the growth is real. Here's the truth we all realize, but don't always say it out loud. The beginning of starting anything new is exciting, the ending, rewarding. But the middle is where most people quit. I'll say that again. The middle is where most people quit. You're you're unsure, you start questioning, you're comparing, you're wondering if you misheard God on this thing you're working on. You're wondering if you're misjudging your potential. The middle is where faith becomes more than a word. It becomes a choice. James 1:12 says, "Blessed is the ones who preserves under trial." Blessed is the one who preserves under trial. Perseverance isn't glamorous. Have we noticed that? It's gritty, it's quiet, it's lonely. It's the parts no one posts about. No one. But it's also the part that shapes us. It's the parts that shapes you. Imagine running a race where no one tells you how long it is. You don't know if it's 1 mile or a marathon. You pace yourself wrong, you question your stamina, you even start to wonder if you should sprint or conserve your energy. But here's the thing, guys. The runner who wins that kind of race aren't the fastest. They're the ones who master the skill of running without knowing, running without certainty, running without a timeline, running because they trust the process more than the distance. That's entrepreneurship. That's faith. That's leadership. There's a moment in every journey where the breakthrough is closer than it feels. It's like digging for water. You dig and you dig and you dig, and the ground looks the same almost every day you dig. But one more inch, just one more, and everything changes. Most people quit inches before the breakthrough. Not because they're weak, or no, but because the timeline was unknown. You don't know if you're on mile 2, on mile 92. You don't know if the breakthrough is tomorrow or next month. But hear this. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. If you're listening to this, hear me clearly. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're not forgotten. It could simply be that you're just not off track. You're in the middle. You're in the fog. You're in the bamboo year. You're in the open water. You're in the race with no visible finish line. And that's exactly where endurance is built. Quick shout out to everyone who's been supporting Creeltalk. If you've been rocking with us and you want to represent the movement, we've got new merch now available. Every piece was created with intention. Hoodies, tees, pieces that speak to growth, purpose, and real conversations just like this podcast. You can check it all out at www.visioninspired.net. Grab something that inspires you or gift it to someone who is on their own growth journey. Galatians 6:9 tells us it promises a harvest, not if you're perfect, not if you're fast, not if you're impressive. If you don't give up. So keep swimming, keep digging, keep running, keep watering, keep showing up. The timeline may be unknown, but the destination is certain. And you're closer than you think. I thank you for tuning in today. If this episode spoke to you, share it. Share it with someone else who is currently on their journey in the middle.